Hi everyone, it's Crystal here of Homesteading, Vancouver Island. I'm out in the garden today. It's the very end of May, and today I'm going to be planting my celery starters out, and I just wanted to show you the celery that I started indoors. And these are my little plants here. And these ones, if I look in my gardening journal here, I started these ones on March 4th. So it's been actually nearly 3 months, just under 3 months since I started these. And I mean, they have been quite slow because I initially started them indoors on a heat mat under grow lights, but then I moved them outside quite quickly into my unheated greenhouse, and because I was running out of room inside. So for that reason, they're still quite small for 3-month-old seedlings, but they're doing healthy now. They're definitely getting bigger. So it's time to put these out into my outdoor garden here. And just want to show you the seeds that I've been using. And I'll show you in my garden as well, because in previous years, I've used this Victoria variety, and it's been quite good. And I'll just show you what that plant looks like. This one is in my garden here from last year, but this one is in its second year, so it is going to seed now, which is why you see that thicker stalk, and then it will be flowering and producing seeds shortly. But I did save seeds from this one last year because I ran out of the seeds from this package, but the seeds that I saved actually didn't germinate this year, so I wasn't able to get any more of that celery. So I ended up buying this variety, which is a tall Utah variety, which I've seen other people use with good success. So we're going to try that one. Both of these say that they are bolt resistant or slow to bolt. They're both 100 days, and they're both an early variety. So yeah, we'll just see how they go. But anyways, I'm going to plant these ones out today. So I've definitely got a few in there. So let's take them over to the garden and get started. Okay, so before I plant these out, I just want to show you how delicate these really are. So you have to make sure that you are quite careful with these celery seedlings. Not sure if you can see in there, but each of these seedlings has a root, just a single root going into the ground there, as you can see. You see right there, that's the single root. So, and then it's got all the growth above ground. So we want to just make sure that we don't damage that root or sever it in any way. So when you've got a clump like this in a container, I find the easiest way to separate them and get them all out is to just take the entire clump carefully out of your container. I had put newspaper in the bottom of this one. And now I've got my block with my seedlings. And now it's going to be a lot easier to just carefully break apart the soil and carefully pull out your seedlings one at a time, if you can do that, and try to maintain the roots. And they do go down quite far, but you can see there I've got one seedling intact with the roots. Actually, there's another tiny one there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to salvage that one, but I'll put it to the side. But that is a bigger one, and that one is ready to plant now. So I'll put that to the side. And then there's definitely quite a few small ones in there too, but if I just break this apart here, there's a couple bigger ones over here. Just going to be really careful with all those nice roots. And got 3 plants here. Just really gently take it apart. There's one. Set that aside. Okay, and there's 2. So those look great. So let's get planting. So I've already prepped my bed here. And I'll just show you that. Okay, so the bed here that I'm going to put these celery into has already been prepped. I did already add my granular 444 organic fertilizer. So I sprinkled that all into my bed here. And then I lightly dug it in just a little bit. So now it's ready for planting. So I'm just going to take my seedlings over here. Where's my little shovel? All right. Now I'm going to make a hole here. I'm going to put the celery in. Now celery shouldn't be planted too deep because like I showed you, that root is underground, but the most of the celery is above the ground. So kind of want to do the same thing where you're getting that root in the ground, but the main portion of the celery is going to be above ground. So we'll get that root nice and deep in there. Plant around it, just like that. So there's showing you just a little bit closer that I've got the roots in the ground, and then the main bulb of the celery root is just kind of above ground. This one is probably a little deep, but as the soil goes down, that will be a good level. So we'll keep planting these in here. Okay, so what I did forget to mention to you when I was showing you the seedlings is that celery takes quite a long time to germinate. So that's another reason you need to start celery early and indoors, and you can't wait until it's good temperatures outdoors to start it. You do need to start it indoors because the seeds can take anywhere from 20 to 30 days to germinate. So for that reason, you just don't have probably a long enough growing season to start them outdoors. Okay, so now you can see that I'm spacing these celery plants a few inches apart because they do get quite big, as I showed you on my previous plant, and they do spread out. So you want to give them certainly a few inches in between plants. And if you have more room, give them more room. Let's get another few seedlings out. So I'm kind of planting these in between some brassicas here. I have some purple sprouting broccoli and some other brassicas here. I'm going to plant them in between. And I've got garlic planted to the left of these as well. Okay. So I'm definitely going to need more room for the number of seedlings that I have here. But they look pretty good. Okay. So they're going to be planted right around this big celery that I've got here too. Well, I don't want to crowd them too much here, so I want to give them some space, and I do have these greens here. So yeah, I don't want to crowd it too much. I could put one right there though. Okay, I just want to show you that I have these very small seedlings left, and you can see how small they are. Some of them are very tiny with not much root system developed. So I could just toss these in the compost, but I don't like to waste anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just plant them into a safe spot in my garden, and I'll show you that. But I'm just going to plant them all as is, kind of clumped up. And if they develop further and they develop better roots and they start getting bigger, then I'll be able to separate them and transplant them into a better location. So I'm going to give that a try. Okay, so that's where I've put those little guys. So you can see they are kind of clumped up. There's like 2 to 3 in each of those holes, but they are big enough to save. They're too close to the other plants, but like I said, if they do grow bigger, they get healthier and stronger, I'm going to move them, put them in a different location. So I have planted out all those celery starters now. So I've got the majority in this location over here, spread out a few inches apart, in between some brassicas, in between the bigger celery. And then what I also did is I put 4 of them down in my garden over here in this area, all in a line here. And this is in between my broccolini and my zucchini and starburst squash. So I'm going to try a few of them in this location just to see if it makes any difference. It's always good to experiment. Anyways, so I think that's it for celery today. But yeah, what you can look forward to is some nice healthy plants like this with some nice big healthy stalks for you to harvest, and those should be ready to go in less than 100 days.